What is going down? What is going down? What is going down? Smooth world. Hopefully everybody is keeping it smooth. Everything is rolling smoothly with you. You know what I'm saying? And you haven't been having no issues because you made it to this point. You made it to tune in live with your boys and rock out with me right here on the Night Owl Show. And you know what the Night Owl Show is. The Night Owl Show is the show for folks who's getting off of work, looking for something to get into, something they can interact with live, you know what I'm saying? Something they can enjoy in person, in real time, to help take the day out the right way. It's the show for folks who's getting up, getting ready for work. So you're looking for something to help get the blood going, get the juices flowing, help get you in the right state of mind. And this is the show for folks who knew if you hung around long enough, you'd be able to kick back and enjoy a real live show from a real person, you know what I'm saying, doing this thing from a real smooth perspective, you know what I mean? It's Be Free Fridays right here on the Night Owl Show. And y'all know what that means. That means kick back, relax, have some fun. We finna kick the weekend off, you know what I'm saying? And I got with me a guest. I've been waiting to I've been excited to get this guy on here, you know what I'm saying? He's a real smooth dude, Y'all gonna love this guy because he's a local born and bred, just like myself. So we definitely got to give him his flowers for that because he left and he came back to make an impact in the hometown. You know what I'm saying? And that means a lot to us because there's a lot of people that say a lot about Kankakee. It's a lot of people that take their shots or make their comments, whatever the case might be. You know what I'm saying? But it's far and few that actually come back to make an impact, to show love, to show home some love. You know what I'm saying? So I want y'all to show some love to my guy, the candidate for Second Ward Alderman, Dave Barron. Dave, how you doing, big time? Oh man, we keeping it smooth, man. How you holding up, man?
I'm feeling good. This has been a Friday I've been looking forward to. You know, it's that first full week of the year. We don't have the holiday to give us a 3 or 4 day weekend anymore. So it's being done at the end of 5 days of work is nice. So I'm feeling pretty good.
Yeah, man. And see, my weekend, my job, the days off is spread out. So I had last night off, and then I get Sunday night off. So I don't get to kick back and enjoy the first full weekend of the year. But hey, you know what I'm saying? That's how the cookie crumbles in some portions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you can adjust. You can push the schedule back a little bit.
Oh yeah. And then enjoy the days off that I do get, because that day off you get working graveyard when everybody else is at school or at work that morning, I get to just enjoy some morning cartoons or some morning movies. It's fun to put you in some real peaceful mind states. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to too much worry. You know what I'm saying? Always in daddy mode. You know what I mean? But Dave, introduce yourself. You know what I'm saying? Let the people know who you are. You know what I'm saying? And give them a little bit about how you got started into politics.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is the start of me getting involved in politics. I've never run for anything before, but I am putting my hat in the ring to become the Second Ward Alderman here in the city of Kankakee. The Second Ward is a really interesting ward. You know, in a lot of ways, I call it the heart of the city. It covers a diverse group of people, probably one of the most diverse in our city. You've got downtown, you've got South Bank, south of the river, you've got Riverview, Coachlight Square. It's the only ward in the city of Kankakee that touches 5 other wards. It's the only ward that's on both sides of the river, and it's really right in the middle. So you know, there's some romantic aspects about that. I mean, if you like your city like I do, drawing those connections is kind of fun to do. But I am Kankakee born and bred. I'm 37 years old, but was born in Kankakee back in 1983. Grew up here and then went away to school, went away to college, went away to law school, lived in Chicago for about 8 years, and then finally moved back home here to Kankakee. And I've been practicing law for the last 3.5 years here in Kankakee. Been getting involved in various things, and we can talk about that a little bit more, but then decided in September to throw my hat in the ring to become an elected official, one of the 14 aldermen in the city of Kankakee.
Come on now. Now, you said you was practicing law for 8 years. I know we talked about it before the other day, but go a little bit more into detail on what got you started and wanted to get into law and then how it led into politics.
Yeah, absolutely. So my dad is a lawyer. Kind of got to, being the family member of a lawyer, you don't get to go to court with him. You don't get to sit in the room while he's negotiating a contract, but you get to know the personal side of things. You see how it affects somebody when they come home after they've helped somebody to adopt a new son or daughter, or after they've helped somebody to buy a home. You can see those personal impacts. So I think it always kind of stuck with me that this is a good life, to be able to work in that capacity, help people out in sometimes a tough situation. So when I went to school, it just started to click. I was very fortunate. I got to go to University of Notre Dame and then Harvard Law School. When I finished that up, came back to the Midwest. I always knew I was coming to the Midwest. That was never in doubt. Out east, Cambridge, Massachusetts is an interesting place. Can't say I wanted to be there forever. Definitely want to get back among the cornfields. And went up to Chicago. I worked for a big firm. And the firm was called Sidley Austin. It's actually the firm where Barack Obama met Michelle Obama. She was his advisor as a summer associate. So they got to know each other a little bit like that. But I was there for about 4 years, and that's a big firm. Paid back my law school debts. Then I went to work for the city of Chicago doing constitutional litigation. And con law, if you know any lawyers, con law is what we talk about for fun. So I'm not saying that's actually fun to anybody else, but that's kind of the thing that we talk about. But I got to do that for a while. I worked on defending the city's affordable housing, and then some of their rules and regulations about ride sharing, like Lyft and Uber. When I was up there, the taxi industry was suing the city for allowing Lyft and Uber to operate. So I got to see kind of that come together, and it was really pretty interesting. But as I did, thinking about a little bit more, I did big law, did big government, and I started thinking about doing small law. And what my dad did as an attorney in Kankakee, seeing those issues of friends and family when they come to him about the big things in their lives. I mean, the way that my practice is now and the way my dad's practice has been is people often come to him not for legal issues, come to him for like big issues in their lives. He gets to advise and provide counsel. And the fact that I'm doing it in my hometown is that much more meaningful.
Come on, man. Now, you were saying how you always knew you would be coming back to the Midwest.
Yeah.
What is it about because I have the same feeling. I've moved away and I've traveled, being blessed to be able to travel to different states to perform, you know what I mean? I've definitely got a chance to get around and see different sides, different coasts, and different environments. So what was it about the Midwest that made you know what, I'm going back home?
It's just this feeling among the people that this is where you're supposed to be. I mean, I feel like Midwesterners, we give off this vibe of you're here, you're supposed to be here, we're glad to have you here, and we want to make it a little bit easier for you. When I was in Boston, you go out to a bar, every single bar is like a party that you weren't invited to. When you walk in the door, maybe people look over their shoulder at you and give you a side eye, but it's a little bit I don't know. It's not as warm as it is here in the Midwest. I think that, and this is kind of what the coastal folks say. They call us flyover states. They say we don't have too much to promote, but I think that because of that, we really take a pride in what we do have, and we find those ways to really promote it. And I like that. I mean, I think that's something that is true to myself. So there's always that attraction coming back. What do you think? Or what's distinctively Midwestern? I always think about that.
For me, what's distinctive the most is the balance in the balance in the seasons. You know what I mean? Because the people, the environment, like we like to travel, so you'll always run across people in Kankakee from somewhere else. You'll travel somewhere else and run into people from Kankakee there. You know what I mean? Yeah. But the one thing that's pretty much a staple of everywhere you go is its weather. And here in the Midwest, we are blessed to be able to fully experience all four seasons. Like for me, it's a tradition every year to at least throw one snowball. It's nostalgic to being a kid. You know what I mean? And you don't get that down south. I'm not gonna see that. You know what I'm saying? Depending on where you go on the West Coast. Um, and then I'm not a fan of too much heat. So if it gets anywhere over 90, 95, I'll put it like this. My brother moved to Texas. My sister moved to Vegas. And I looked at both of them and said, anywhere it's the law for you to have an air conditioner, it's not legal for me to live there. It's something wrong with the weather in that city. You know what I'm saying? So what I love the most about the Midwest is probably the balanced weather. You know what I'm saying? Being able to enjoy fully year round without feeling like it's too much of one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And that balance, I mean, that feeds into kind of what people's mentalities and, you know, just the even keel nature. You know, I think that's part of it.
Exactly. So the let's build up Kankakee slogan, you know what I'm saying? Expound on that, you know what I'm saying? Because I've seen it when you talk about it on the website. And for those who would like to go over and check out the website to get more info on the candidate for alderman, you can go over here to baronforkankakee.com and check it out in person and see everything. You can see the platforms. You can learn a little bit more about why he's running and whatnot. But man, you know what I'm saying? Give them a little bit more of a breakdown on the Let's Build Up Kankakee slogan.
Yeah. You know, I follow politics. I read a lot about it. And I really think one of the most interesting is when a candidate picks a slogan. You know, it's very difficult to wrap up a lot of thoughts and ideas about what you want to do for a community into 6 words or even less. You know, and it can be really powerful. For Barack Obama, it was change you can believe in. Donald Trump, it's, you know, make America great again. Those convey real, you know, ideas in that short little idea. For mine, I chose let's build up Kankakee. And, you know, the reason I did that, when you think about build up Kankakee, what's the opposite of building up Kankakee? It's tearing down Kankakee. And I get so frustrated seeing some of the comments on social media, seeing how so many people that really don't know that much about Kankakee just can dump on the community. And that comes, you know, tearing down Kankakee is not just people on the outside, but it's also on the inside as we tear each other apart. Put each other down, put down ideas that are good ones just because somebody that they don't like proposed them. That's tearing down Kankakee. So in putting this campaign together, I really wanted to do something that was positive, was optimistic, upward looking, and that's build up Kankakee. I also said, you know, you might also hear people talk about wanting to build back Kankakee or revitalize Kankakee or bring Kankakee back to what it used to be. Right. I didn't want to do that either. I don't think it's possible to go backwards. Kankakee in the 1950s and the 1960s, you know, we have some pictures of it. It looks real nice. There's a bunch of cars. There's some stores on Court Street and Schuyler Avenue. I mean, we got to be honest. It's never going to look like that ever again. And that's okay. You know, we can look better. We can do better things. We can take advantage of technology. We can take advantage of different trends, economic trends, and put something together here in Kankakee that's better than it ever was before. New lights. They're all energy efficient. So, you know, that in that way, it is better than what came before. And when you look back in the 1950s and 60s, it wasn't that good for everybody. You know, it was good for a select group of people, but in what we can do now, and I think, you know, millennials and young people are going to have to lead this charge, is bringing together a community that is multiracial, diverse, in a way that hasn't been seen before. And that part of it too is not to build back Kankakee, but to build up Kankakee. It's forward looking in that way. So that's kind of where I came to with that slogan.
And I remember when we were talking about it before, I was telling you that I completely agree with that. You know what I mean? Because as locals, born and raised, we've heard a lot. We always hear the rants of people talking about it's quicksand. You know what I'm saying? You can never do anything. There's nothing to do here. Kankakee pulls you in and don't let you out or whatever. And it's like, instead of being so negative or constantly finding something negative to talk about, why don't we find out how we can bring about the things that we're talking about we're missing in our city? You know what I mean? There's no reason why we should have to drive 40, 50 miles north or 100 so miles south just to find some entertainment or find something positive to do or some constructive to do in our time. You know what I mean? It's a lot of hidden gems here in Kankakee. So to be able to get to the point of what you're talking about, of focusing on building it up and just staying positive and staying productive instead of being negative and looking for ways to start talking negative, which only gonna bring about more negative thoughts, emotions, feelings, and vibes, and just tearing down Kankakee internally because we're the ones talking about it. You know what I mean? There's plenty of people that actually drive by Kankakee, drive through, or come to visit and talk about how beautiful it is. It's the locals that's the ones that we got to get to and get to understanding, man, we have a gym here with gyms hidden inside the gym. We got to cultivate this thing.
And I think you're the same way because you've moved up to Milwaukee, you've been other places.
Mhm.
I don't think we realize what those gems are in a lot of ways until we go away from it. At least I didn't. For me personally, I don't think that I recognized the real value that exists in Kankakee until I went away, until I lived in another community for a while. I mentioned I lived in Chicago. Chicago is a world-class city. I love that community. It gets me so frustrated when I hear people dump on Chicago because if you get into the neighborhoods, they are so rich and full of culture, incredible restaurants. I mean, there's so many different things that I do love about Chicago. At the same time, there's some real drawbacks, and I don't think they're the ones that people talk about all the time. I used to live in Bucktown, up on the northwest side, Logan Square, and
Right.
that you could, and this is I think in many parts of the cities of Chicago, you could wake up, get on the L train, go down to your office downtown, go into your office, do your work, get back on the L train, go home, and you could do that over and over and never see anybody that looks different. I mean, Chicago is a very segregated city. It's got many neighborhoods, but at the same time, it is incredibly segregated. Kankakee, we are diverse too. I mean, we have almost an even split among white, black, brown, and at the same time, we have the diversity, but we also have proximity. So we are next to the people we're working with, we're playing with, we are going to movies with people that don't look like us. So that diversity plus proximity is a virtue that Kankakee has that Chicago doesn't have. Smaller communities throughout the United States don't necessarily have, but we do. So a lot of talking about building up Kankakee is focusing on that aspect and recognizing that if we're going to find some solutions to some of the racial discord, some of the economic discord that we've definitely seen over the last few days, they're going to come from places like this, like here in Kankakee, where we actually can have those discussions because we are right next to each other, and that's a good thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. It's definitely a good thing. You know what I mean? Um, being able to have such rich culture and a lot of all the different ethnicities, you know what I'm saying? It allows us to be able to be exposed to a whole lot more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just looking for positive and productive ways of bringing all the different cultures together. You know what I'm saying? For one unified purpose. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Normally, this will inspire this group of people to come, or that will inspire that group of people to come. But trying to get everybody on one unified front, you know what I'm saying? That seems to be the hardest thing. So, what would be some ideas you would say you would have on ways of ideas of how we can bring people together from all different walks of life that we have right here in Kankakee?
Yeah, well, I United City is a big piece of my campaign. I've got three main goals of my campaign where I'm putting my priorities. The first is strong neighborhoods. The second is safe streets, and the third is United City. And with that last one, United City, unity is something that is a tough concept because when you say unity, you don't want to glaze over a lot of the differences that exist that are real. I think, and honestly, for me, that's kind of the big lesson from the past 2 days with what you saw in the Capitol, when you got a big crowd of people, primarily white people, that stormed the Capitol, and really didn't see too much pushback. Now, I know that there were some violence that did occur, but compared to what you saw with some of the other protests earlier this year, Big double standard. I mean, a big difference. So before we can even glimpse unity, before we can even talk about it, we have to acknowledge those aspects, those differences. If we can do that, then we can recognize that we do have some commonalities. For me, in terms of as a united city, I think there's a few things we can do. For one, I think that, and this is a straight policy issue. We have a mayoral appointment. I think that the city council should provide majority approval of that person. It shouldn't just be, one person who selects who all the officers are, because the city council is supposed to be representative of our community. So if you have the city council, that's the representatives of everybody backing some of our officials, they're going to be more powerful. They're going to be able to do their job more easily. I also think it comes into play in terms of United City. I think that many people can come together and appreciate the exact types of differences in the cultures that you mentioned through the art. Merchant Street Music Festival is a good example of that in a really good way. You go to that festival and it is eclectic. There is something there for everybody, and even something there that's not something you might typically want to see, but you see it, part of it.
Right.
So additional events like that. I also think it comes into an idea of, when you talk about United City, it's also United County, United Region. There are certain things that we're going to do that we need Bradley and Bourbonnais and Manteno's help to do.
Right.
Tourism, economic development, providing services for the homeless. Those are all things that we're not going to be able to stand alone as just the city of Kankakee. We've got to have people that can work and relate with people throughout our region and identify where there might be some synergy. So that's all aspects of that idea of unity. I mean, first figuring out where those differences are, acknowledge them, but still hold true to a goal that we can be on the same page for moving forward.
Come on now. And that's what's most important is having a united city, having everybody under one, aspect of economic growth, about building back up this beautiful city that we have. You know what I'm saying? And like you said, it might take for people to leave to be able to go appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? But I really believe that it's going to take people like yourself, people like myself, people that like Taiwan Hagler, people that actually take the time to get away, come back, and then invest into the community in ways that we didn't have them invested to when we were younger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
When I was coming up, I didn't have open mics to go to be able to perform, to cultivate my art, to learn how to sing better or handle stage fright, learn how to deliver for a packed audience versus how to make two people feel like they are my packed audience. You know what I mean? How to cultivate the pen. Like, the most support I had was my English teacher in high school, who would, on half a days, and he really didn't have nothing for the lesson plan, he would let me go in front of the classroom and spit a couple of pieces that I've been working on, and I'll give them to him for like grammar and stuff like this. But for the most part, like, he was really helping me push with performing in front of other people. You know what I mean? I didn't have a local place I can go once or twice a month to help get the jitters out, to help practice, to go over different sets and different pieces and stuff like this. And like you're saying now, bringing together not just Kankakee, but the other cities that's within Kankakee County, so that we can bring stuff about through the arts to give to the kids, you know what I'm saying? To give them something productive and positive to work on, so that we don't have to worry about them focusing their attention elsewhere. We're putting productive and positive things in front of them that we know is gonna catch their intrigue. Right. Music, art, dancing, drawing, digital media, whatever it might be, that's gonna bring these kids in and ultimately give them a trade, or beginning to give them years of experience in the stuff that they can go on and do something productive with later on. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And the one thing that's nice about Kankakee, a community our size, is those people that have really worked their art. They've harnessed their art. They become better speakers. They become artists. They become exactly what you're talking about. In a place like Kankakee, you can quickly make your mark. You know, if you think that there aren't open mic nights, you think that there isn't a good venue for dance, you can create it. You know, I mean, it's not like in big cities, Chicago, it gets a little bit difficult to get in there to find that niche and put it together. It's more costly. People already have their thing. Kankakee, I mean, you can do it like pretty quickly. So, you know, Merchant Street Music Festival, I keep going back to that. That was two people who recognized that we don't have a big music festival down here. So let's make one. They did it. You know, and that here you have a kind of a platform and a way to be creative in ways that might not as be accessible in a bigger environment.
Come on now. Now, speaking about the youth,
yeah,
I was reading on the website, you know what I'm saying? You got a little man, Remy, just turned 1. Tell me how it feels, you know what I'm saying, entering into fatherhood, you know what I'm saying, with the little one dealing with this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, my wife, Anya, and I, we waited a little bit. We didn't get married until we were 33, but, you know, but we were in Chicago kind of being single up there. And so then when we found each other, we knew it was good to go. We knew exactly what we were looking for, but we had a son. He's 21 months almost at this point. So he's it's wild, you know, just fatherhood is something that you hear about, you know, you can listen to other people talk about it, but until you're actually molding and guiding this little human, you have no idea. And so it's been good, but I'm not gonna lie, there's stressful moments that I was not expecting on that level.
What's been the most stressful one so far?
Honestly, I mean, it's when I think it's when he gets hurt for the first time. You know, like more than just a little ding right here, but an actual like cut, or if he's, you know, when you see his blood for the first time, that's intense. Yeah, I'm thinking about that too right now. I'm getting a little like, ugh. And I've only got one kid. You know, I don't have it anywhere close to yours. I mean, that's amazing. How do you do that?
Man, look, I always knew I wanted a big family, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. My father was one of 12 kids. My mother was one of 5. My wife is one of 11. And we used to talk about it having like 7 kids, like it was going to be sweet. We had no idea what this world was going to come to or how much that was going to cost. I thought by now I'd have been made it. I'd be touring somewhere. Like by the time we get to baby number 5, I should be on book number 3, on album number 5. You know what I'm saying? I should be then toured the world about 3 times, and now I take y'all with me every other road trip. Like, nah, it didn't. But I'm a man of faith. You know what I'm saying? I was raised to believe in God, put God first, and no matter what, everything's gonna be all right. And I know a lot of good, wholesome, God-fearing people actively trying to have kids and can't have kids. Something's coming in the way. It's not happening for them. And I don't even have to halfway attempt to try. I couldn't stop making these daggone jokes. It was like it's a reason why I keep getting blessed with them. So I'm not gonna argue. I'm just gonna walk by the faith he said to walk by. Like, hey, big fella, you said you had my back now. Let's keep this. Look out for me.
Yeah, it's a whole new world at this point. Trying to figure out what just day-to-day planning is just totally different with one, and with 5, I can't imagine.
Oh, I was telling you the other day, it's like the commercial with the mom has the first kid and she's like, oh, I gotta get the baby Bjorn. I gotta get the bottles, the bag. I forgot something. By the second kid, she got this one strapped in. She's got the other one by the hand. Scoop of Cheerios and we out the door. Like, you know what? we're just gonna walk by faith. I'm not gonna do this all over again, because you realize you realize why we used to look at our parents and be like, why are you tripping?
Yep.
They know they're durable. We look at them and worry like, oh, this is my baby. I don't want to see you hurt.
Yep.
But I learned by my second kid. If they fall and you don't do the, if they fall and you just look at them, to
Yep.
wait to see what their reaction gonna be, more times than not, they'll get up, brush themselves off, and then run back into the thing like nothing ever happened.
Yep.
If they see you in shock, they'll respond in shock. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
it's the stuff that you start picking up on in time. You know what I mean?
That's we're trying to do that. I got to check myself because I am always giving him that shock noise. I mean, you can hear him. He now will mock us. If he falls, he will say himself. And he's this little guy. He's doing these very human things. Then you laugh when he does it too. So he starts doing that too. It's every day. I mean, and right now he's starting to learn words, and it's 2 or 3 words per day that you just don't expect him to say. Yesterday it was hush. He was telling me to hush, and you can tell that he is a true Midwesterner, true Kankakeean, because his other big word right now is river. So he is nonstop saying river and geese. Always wants to go down to see the river.
Come on, man. Come on, man. That's what's up. Now, do y'all got a number that y'all working on, or are y'all just walking my faith, or is little Remy gonna be like, you know what? I think we're gonna let Remy just rock out and do him.
I think we want a few more, at least one more. I'm a child of a family of 2 kids. Anya has 3 siblings, so maybe meet in the middle with 3 there. We'll see, but that's probably what we're doing. But like you said, you never know. There's a lot of people that have not a lot. It's not easy to have a baby, and that's another thing they don't teach you about. They don't talk about that until you're in that situation. So you never know. I mean, like you said, you got to put your faith in God and see what happens.
There you go, man. Because yeah, I even thought we was gonna be able to plan like, all right, we had this one. We'll wait until this one gets into school, and we'll start talking about another one. My oldest was born in December of 2011. Well, my second oldest was born in December 2011. My third oldest, which is my namesake, was born 14 months later. It's like you can't plan these things. You can try your best to time them, but as long as you stay in the game, you know what I'm saying. Every time you see him, you know what I'm saying, you lighten up, he's lighting up. It's a beautiful feeling. I just posted a picture the other day on Facebook of me with everybody, me and the wife, and all 5 of the kids right there. And man, to look back and to see all over the years, all the little family pictures we've had, and now you just start seeing a little bit, then they start trickling in more by more, or constant pictures of the wife pregnant. Now you're trying to guess which baby she was pregnant with at the time. You know what I'm saying? Man, it's just more peace. You know what I'm saying? There's more versions of peace. Because I was telling you before, looking into the eyes of the kids, it's something stress relieving when you get the chance to look into your kids' eyes. And they just, with pure joy and a ball of energy that you don't even remember having at that age, man.
Yeah. When, kind of bring it full circle here, having a kid being in Kankakee, I mean, a big reason why we moved back to Kankakee was to be able to be a parent down here. It would have been, I feel, I don't know, I know a lot of people do it. It would have been tougher, I feel like, to be a parent in Chicago. Some of the law firms up there that I could have worked for, you're working crazy hours. There's no way that you can be a part of your kid's life in the way that I'm able to do now. I'm going to be able to coach him in soccer. I'm going to be able to just be there at dinner at night, which is amazing, having that idea. So that was a big piece of it too, in terms of why we wanted to come back. Just things started to make more and more sense for us to return, for me to come back home to Kankakee. And thankfully my wife bought into it. She's from Arizona, so she's not used to the balance of weather and everything. But I think she's okay with it at this point.
How was that first winter for her out here?
We've got a deal. So every February we're supposed to go on a trip. Now, COVID is kind of messing with that a little bit, but we've tried to at least drive somewhere, even if it's St. Louis, just get somewhere different in February. Because for her, I mean, that's really when the sky has that sort of permanent overcast, cloudiness.
Yeah.
And you can tell she starts to feel a little bit less sunny, I'll say. And so we've made that work. That's the deal that we've made for ourselves.
That's funny that you picked February, and February and December are for me the two heaviest months of the year.
Mm-hmm.
December, my youngest birthday is December 13th. My oldest daughter is December 17th, and then you got Christmas, and then me and my wife's, and one of our anniversaries is New Year's Eve. So it's like bing, 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 bing in December, right?
Yeah.
And then February comes, and me and my wife's anniversary of marriage is February 10th. And Valentine's Day and my youngest son's birthday is the same day.
Ooh.
And then 5 days after that, my middle daughter's birthday. It's like, dude,
wow.
February is just.
Yeah, that's the gauntlet right there.
Oh man, I'm a happy camper when we make it to March, man. I'm cool. I'm good by that point.
Oh, I bet. And the sun starts to come out a little bit more. The weather gets a little nicer. You get St. Patrick's Day. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, man. Yeah. From the beginning of the winter season until we start figuring out how long this snow gonna last. It's a rough patch. It's a rough spin.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But once we get on the other side, man, it's good. It's good. We cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this is gonna be, we're in the middle of it now. We're in the middle of the winter. I've been really interested to see how people take to, what's going on with COVID, and we're really supposed to be being in more. It's interesting to see how some people do. I mean, I like seeing a lot of people that they are just, gritting their teeth and going outside and being out there a little bit more. That's kind of nice to see people just embrace the winter. If you can just put on some coats, put on a hat, and you can do it. Like, it'll be cold, but you can do it. So it's kind of nice to see people kind of reinvent that thing.
And I'm somebody that was in the beginning. I was like, dude, I'm not going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I was one that didn't understand what it meant to be an essential worker. I've been a forklift driver since 2005, off and on. So being a forklift operator, we never felt important. And every job wanted to work us like dogs. So by the time the quarantine kicked in and jobs was getting shut down, I just knew. I'm like, man, I'm finna get 2 weeks off of work with pay. I'm finna be able to work on the book. I'm finna be able to do this. I'm finna be able to do that. And then I found out, no, we're important to some people. We're important. We matter.
No vacation for you, yeah.
No, not even a little bit, man. And in that moment, it was like, all right, having a newborn, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Already knowing the fears of having your newborn around people because of how susceptible their immune system is. Mm-hmm. You already walk like treadfully, like walk real carefully because you're not trying to take any chances. Yeah. And the more kids you get, the more carefully you walk, because if anybody gets sick, everybody's going to get sick because everybody's always up under each other. You know what I'm saying? And then the COVID kicked in, where now if you don't have a mask, most places ain't letting you in. Yep. And you don't want to be within 6 feet of anybody you don't really know like that, let alone live with. You know what I'm saying? So I've been leery. I've been real skeptical about going out this entire year. I think for my wife's birthday, we made an exception and went up to Chicago and got a room and went to a club that was the whole time I'm nervous. I'm like, dude, we got too many kids we playing around with, but it's the wife's birthday. We got to do something. She was pregnant last year, so we got to do it right this year. Right. And the club we went to was it might have been maybe 10 people in the whole club.
Is that right?
We're way up there. I'm nervous. By the time we got there, I was like, whew, okay, 10 people in this establishment. It's 15, 20 feet before you cross paths with anybody. So you still felt kind of safe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of the podcasts and stuff I be watching, people talk about how like Florida's wide open, Georgia's wide open. They travel there to do shows in clubs and theaters and stuff. Like, I'm still hesitant because I know how real this thing is. I've lost close people to COVID. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm not particular on playing with it, but being that we've made it this far, that we've got a somewhat of a better understanding of how to deal with it, how to maneuver safer. You know what I'm saying? I'm be honest with you. I'm not keen on the vaccine.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Uh, for the same reason why I'm not keen on the flu shot. And the flu shot's been around a whole lot longer than the vaccine. So clearly, I'm gonna trust the flu shot before I trust something that just popped up in 6, 7 months. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Uh, but I definitely like seeing people get. I love seeing the fact that through this, people are becoming a lot more productive. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? People are finding other ways of other outlets. You know what I mean? For me, I wasn't able to create the open mics in public anymore, so I was able to create this and bring a
Yeah.
platform virtually where you can feel safe to interact and engage and be entertained without leaving the comfort of your home. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
give you something to look forward to that's lighthearted, that's entertaining, that's thought provoking. You're gonna learn some things. You know what I'm saying? But in the same breath, you're safe across the board, and which is the most important thing for anybody that's doing any form of entertainment. We all want to make sure that everybody stays safe. You know what I'm saying?
That's, when this is all done, when we're out not wearing masks, I think one thing we're going to be able to look back on is seeing how many people really got creative in this moment. We essentially had to rewrite the economy in 3 months. And that's amazing that we were able to do that. And if you think about it too, like if this pandemic happened 20 years ago, 25 years ago, just think about how different it would be. We wouldn't have anywhere close to the connectivity. We wouldn't have internet. We wouldn't have Wi-Fi. Everything would have just totally shut down. Nothing, no connection between you and your friends. I mean, maybe on the phone, but not anywhere close to what people have been able to do with this type of discussion, this type of communication. People couldn't really work from home in the way that many are able to do. Um, and it's interesting too to think about what's this going to mean for the long term. What will COVID, at least its impacts on the economy, mean for, especially for a place like Kankakee in the long run? Um, if you talk to any real estate agent right now, they'll tell you the Kankakee real estate market is hot. It's a lot of people who are wanting to get out of kind of the dense urban environment. They see that there is a little more space down here. I honestly think Kankakee, and specifically the city of Kankakee, stands in a good place because we are not a suburb out in the middle of nowhere. We're a small city. We've got some of those urban amenities. We've got a good downtown. If we can make this work right, I mean, this could be a reason for people to move to Kankakee and see some of the attributes that you and I have been talking about. If we can promote those and kind of showcase those in the right way.
Come on, man. Come on, man. And I'm all about that, man. I'm all about finding ways of creating new reasons, new attractions, new reasons for people to want to come see the beauty that we have here, as well as reasons for the people we have here to be more and more proud of the things we have here. You know what I mean? That's why I started the showcases that I was doing with the Kankakee Public Library.
Yeah.
That's why I started the open mic that I did there. Then we wound up moving over to Feed, and then before the end of it all, we were doing at the Hillside stage over at the train depot, which was a beautiful, beautiful venue, having
Yeah.
outside for the people. You know what I'm saying? Uh, the train made it interesting once a show.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But other than that, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Being able to have people come out, they was bringing lawn chairs, you know what I'm saying? It's also the picnic tables and stuff set up over to the side. People over at the gas station was coming out from the car wash area, standing on the side watching the show. People would be standing on the bridge, walking across the bridge. It was just beautiful to be able to bring live entertainment to the city and watch them just get lost in it. You know what I mean? Like we all enjoy Merchant Fest. But once Merchant Fest leaves, you know what I'm saying, after that weekend, now you got to wait till next year for it to come back around, and you might get sporadic events at the depot or back when they did have feed open before Grapes and Hops bought it out. You would have sporadic events here and there, but some consistent you could look forward to on a regular basis. You know what I'm saying, or at least like a quarterly basis, where it kept bringing more and more reasons to come out. It kept bringing more and more reasons for us as a city to come together to be able to enjoy. You know what I'm saying? That's what something that really it really meant a lot to me to be able to create that and to be able to hear that that's a lot of where your focus is at. That I know we got the right guy for the job. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I appreciate that. You know, I kicked off my campaign on the Hill stage. That's because of exactly everything you're talking about. Thankfully, I didn't have to deal with any trains going by. I was kind of hoping I would have a train because then I'd know what it'd be like to be an artist at Merchant Street Music Festival. But that didn't happen. But I was going to ask you too. Yeah, if you were involved with Feed, if you did much there, and it sounds like you were. I mean, that was a big draw for me too in coming back. I mean, that institution was great. I'm really sorry to see it kind of go, but I know, how much time the people put into that, and they were all, unpaid volunteers. So hopefully we can find that sort of center for artists, for creatives, because that was such a good thing for the city of Kankakee.
Feed will always hold a special place in my heart, and somebody actually started a bring back Feed Facebook Messenger group chat and put me in. It's probably about, I want to say, at least 30 to 40 people in it that was all talking about they wanted to do something they wanted to find some other location to bring Feed back because of how impactful it was to a lot of us. You know what I mean? I met majority of the artists that I've worked with as far as spoken word, as far as the poetry slams that Moran Beasley used to run there.
Yep.
When him and Mike Costanza used to run it side by side. Moran had the open mic there. Jesse had a open mic there for musicians. There were so many shows that brought out the artistic people of Kankakee. You know what I'm saying? I won my first poetry slam at Feed, and man, we've held so many events there to honor and to give back to people that was supporting the team that we had out here heavily. So it was definitely hard to hear that it got let go of, and we found out about it actually in the process of us like getting ready to head back there to set up for the next open mic. It was like, hey, Feed got bought out? No, anybody told us nothing, bro. I got the equipment right here. We got the show in about a couple. Like, come on, man. And then when we got the news, it was heartbreaking, man. But the spirit of Feed is definitely still alive, and we definitely still looking for. I definitely know people still looking for another location we can bring like Feed to where it's just artistic. Like an artistic utopia where everybody can just come together and feel free to express yourself however you want to artistically and know you're going to be accepted, whether it's the paintings and the drawings on the walls that the high school kids used to do, or you somebody that wants to do pottery or whatever the case might be. Feed was something that was open for everybody, and it was definitely a essential part of downtown.
That was so I've written a book. That was where I did the launch of my book, was at Feed. We did a book event. I got to kind of speak to everybody, had a projector up. So that was another creative expression was talking about that.
Come on, man. All right, now one last thing before we get up out of here. Yeah. I do it on every episode, and I told you about it the other day. Yep. I just didn't tell you what the subject was going to be.
Right.
It's one's got to go.
Okay.
Now, I want to call myself a foodie, but I'm really just a breakfast food guy. Like I will terrorize some breakfast food, and when I get in the kitchen to hook it up, man, the wife goes crazy because, man, I'm cooking like I'm about to serve Thor at a banquet or something. Like, man, it's a whole spread. It's ridiculous. But man, breakfast food, one's got to go. Yeah. Pancakes, French toast, waffles, or a cinnamon roll?
Well, okay, so these are all like bread-based breakfast foods here, right? Okay.
Word.
So give it to me again. Pancakes, waffles.
French toast, and cinnamon rolls. Which one of them can you live without? If you never got a chance to touch them again,
Yeah.
you wouldn't care.
See, I love breakfast food too, but I'm an eggs and a bacon kind of guy. So, I want the omelet. I'll put the pancakes to the side. I'll put the cinnamon rolls to the side. So, if I can only pick one that I put to the side, I'm gonna say probably the pancakes. It's just sort of drab. I like everything else you've got there either has frosting or it's got some texture to it. Pancakes are just kind of plopped on a plate and go with it. So,
man, I have been asking this question. I've been asking this question for a couple of years now, man, and it's rare somebody says pancakes first.
really,
Rare, because that's my answer, hands down. You know what I'm saying? Like, out of everything else, French toast, you got to put love in to make French toast. Like, you could taste the care when you bite into it. You know what I'm saying? The waffle teach you how to conserve syrup. It's a pocket for each dollop of syrup to make it perfect where you don't waste nothing. You know what I'm saying? If you drop a little bit in each one and then fold it in half, it's the perfect amount of syrup just for what you need. And and the cinnamon roll is the dessert for breakfast, man. It's like it stands alone by itself just because it's the only one that's considered a dessert. You know what I'm saying? Pancakes is like, dude, pancakes is like your go-to. Like, this is the one thing that never fails. It's traditional. It's been around for the longest time. But you've ran your course. Of course, you Hall of Fame. Let's get you up out of here. Let somebody else get some time to shine. You know what I'm saying?
And I get like some people can make it look cool with Mickey Mouse ears and everything, but literally it's just plop on a skillet and see what happens. Like, I don't know. I go for the other ones, I guess.
Come on, man. Hey, I'm right here with you, man. So go ahead. We can wrap it up. It's 9:58. Go ahead and plug yourself, what you got coming up next, you know what I'm saying, and where people can find you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you very much. And thanks for having me on the show. I love it. I mean, I love this discussion. I've loved following the Night Owl Show for a while. One thing I do want to make sure to mention is we've got a panel coming up. It is a campaign event, but it's really more supposed to be a policy discussion.
Okay.
The reason I'm running is not to run. The reason I'm running is to actually get some ideas, to have some discussions, and then try to get them in place. So one thing we want to do is to get that started now. Next Tuesday, January 12th at 7 o'clock, we're going to do an online Zoom panel where we're bringing in some millennial entrepreneurs, all from Kankakee, all people that have chosen to start their businesses here in Kankakee. And the link is on my Facebook page, Baron for Kankakee. You can get there through the website or through the Facebook. But we're going to have 5 different panelists: Taisha Smith, Alex Schwengler, Larry Lewis, Courtney Wade, and Chris Silva. All really interesting, dynamic people get together. And then Kent Wade, who I know is a friend of the show, is going to moderate that discussion. And, the questions we're essentially going to pose to them is, what can we as a city of Kankakee do to make things easier? What can we do to support your entrepreneurial efforts, your creative efforts? We're going to get into, economic trends. Like, how does the gig economy impact a city like Kankakee? What about ride sharing? Is that something that we should see more of down here or less of down here? Does it make sense? And then COVID, kind of what we were talking about a little bit ago. What is COVID going to mean for small businesses in Kankakee? And you'll notice, they're all millennials too. So the panel is called The Next Generation Economy in Kankakee, looking to see what really our generation can bring to the table. The city council right now, there's not a single member on the city council who's under the age of 40. Which I think is, it's interesting. And I don't think that means that the city council members can't look after our interests, but I think that we as millennials have a different perspective. We were around when there wasn't technology, at least in terms of the internet, in terms of, different connectedness. like that. But we learned to accommodate it, and we've come up with it. So we're going to be a part of this transitioning economy in the days ahead. So if you can make it, please come to that panel, Next Generation Economy in Kankakee, Tuesday the 12th from 7 to 8 on Zoom.
And you said they can find that link to where?
Yeah, if you go on Facebook and just look for Baron for Kankakee, that's my website, and then the event page is off of there. Or if you know Kent Wade has been promoting the heck out of it too. So he's got it available too. We met this week and just had a good discussion, even just getting ready for this next discussion. So I'm excited. Hope a lot of people are able to.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Well, man, it's definitely been a pleasure having you on the show, man.
Thank you.
And interactive has been fun. We've been able to, get to know you on a personal level as well as on the, your standpoints and your views and whatnot. And that's what it's about, man. Creating a platform, letting everybody have a voice. You know what I mean? But y'all know it's that time. So we're going to go ahead and get on up out of here. You know what I mean? I have been your boy, Keep It Smooth. And this has been another episode of The Night Owl Show. You know what I'm saying? This is the show for folks who's getting up, getting ready to take off for work. This is the show for folks who's getting off work, looking for something to wind down to help wind out the day, real smooth, right? And this is the show for folks who knew if you stuck around long enough, you'll get a chance to rock out with your boy for an hour. And we did just that, you know what I'm saying? Make sure y'all go check out BaronForKankakee.com and support the new candidate for alderman. You know what I'm saying? He's definitely talking about bringing some change and making some influential moves in the community. So make sure y'all get around and checking that out. But I have been your boy, Keep It Smooth, reminding you that you too can keep it smooth. All you gotta do is take a deep breath, take a step back, and figure out the best way to keep it smooth.